Hey guys, what's going on? It is Livid Fray. Hope you guys are all doing very well today. I'm going to be showcasing the Sentry's Call Pistol Sentry build that I've been using. You guys have seen this quite a bit in my live streams as well as the background footage for a lot of the videos that I've been putting out lately. And I do have this on the sheet that's inside the member Discord channel. So if you guys are a member of the channel or if you've been gifted a membership, make sure you check out your Discord. Make sure your Discord and your YouTubes are linked. You will have a private channel there for specifically my members, and I do have a sheet there that showcases all of the builds that I have, whether they have been workshopped or not. It depends. If I'm currently working on them, they won't be listed inside the sheet until I have the build exactly where I want it to be. And even if I remove it from the character, I will still keep it on the sheet. But I do keep all of the builds there that I am actively using, so make sure to check that out if you are a member of the channel. Now, before I begin, I just wanted to make it very clear that the way that I have this build set up is definitely not a tank by any means. Yes, you do have a full body shield, and I am at the skill power cap. That does not mean that this shield is very viable. What I mean by this is that I don't have any sort of shield health mods on. I'm not running a set that really caters to the shield, such as D3FNC. So just keep in mind that this shield is not going to be very strong compared to defense. Even defense as a 4-piece is much stronger than this if you're wanting to go for shield protection. I would definitely lean more towards a D3FNC build, which I will be covering in a later video. The way that I have this current build set up is more of a DPS build. You can do Sentry in many different ways. You could do a full electronics build so you can be a full support for your team. You can continue to run cool-headed on the pistol to bring skills back for your teammates faster. You can spam ultimates for your teammates and legendaries and so on and so forth. You can even do this as a full tank build if you would like to. You'd just basically be providing your teammates with full DPS support and you could tank multiple shots from enemies. However, I found that the firearms is the way that I personally want to go. So without further delay, let's go ahead and get into the actual build for today's video. So the first thing that I want to start off with is the pistol. Now the pistol, you can do any kind of pistol you would like to. For a while, I was actually using an M9 pistol because I really like the M9. I feel like I am pretty efficient with it considering I do a lot of survival, and that's the pistol that you start off with in survival. However, the First Wave X45 does allow for more attachment slots, and it does have a higher RPM, which is going to help you a lot with this build. You could go for something with less RPM and more damage, absolutely. I had done this with many different pistols, and really you can't go wrong with any of them. But the First Wave X45 is going to allow for more attachment slots, so you can have more accuracy equipped. And then the shield that I'll be using gives you more stability and accuracy as well. So really this pistol while you're shooting does not move. Keep in mind that the main pistol that you can't use really with this build is the 93R because you won't actually gain stacks with that because it's a semi-automatic instead of a single fire pistol. For the talents that I've chosen with Brutal and Cool-Headed. You could also go with Determined and Cool-Headed if you would like to. And to do this build, you do have to have one slot rolled over to Electronics or all Electronics mods on, which I'll be getting into the mods here very shortly to showcase how I did it for mine. But as you can see, I'm getting pretty close to 9k firearms and everything else is into electronics. And I have the Brutal and Cool-Headed pistol. Cool-Headed is just going to allow you to get your skills back faster because I'm using a flashbang. Again, we'll get into these skills here very shortly. But Cool-Headed, I would say, is a big priority for this build. If you don't want to go the Cool-Headed route and you would rather do something different, you could just run firearm DTE mods instead, or stamina if you want some extra toughness. That's really up to you. But I figure since I needed a little bit of extra skill power anyway, we might as well just go for Cool-Headed here. Now, as far as the weapon choices, I've decided to go with the SVD and the M700 Carbon. I would definitely recommend some kind of bolt action rifle as at least a secondary, if not your primary. The bolt actions just hit extremely hard and they do very, very well with Sentry. It's going to help you chew through those the heavies and the tanks or even the hunters at the end a lot quicker. And this helps out quite a bit for snipers that are really far back and the surplus SVD is just not going to hit them. As far as the SVD, I found that this is probably the most fun weapon to play with Sentry. You can also do the Devil and Heel exotics. I was using those for a while. I just found their accuracy and the bloom on the weapons way too much to handle. So I've gone more for the surplus SVD. The main reason why I wanted to cover this build as soon as I could is because there is an SVD for sale this week that would work. And if you are wanting to check that out, I have the build reset video on my channel. It's posted on every Monday, so if you want to check out last Monday's, which have been yesterday the 3rd, I have that video uploaded there. But I've chosen to do cool-headed on the bottom, although I've been kind of re-rolling this a couple times trying to get something different. You could do something along the lines of prepared. I was actually trying to get balanced, believe it or not, but cool-headed still works very well. Anything that you can get your skills back faster is going to be a win. You could also do determined here since it's on the bottom. And then my marksman rifle here, I have prepared, disciplined, and elevated. Ideally, I want one with brutal instead, so like a prepared and brutal. And I think I had moved one. All of them have, I think I was trying to get this over to prepared instead of disciplined, but I think this one's on my Hunter's Faith build, so as you can see, it's a lot of just trying to find decent guns that work well with the build and then trying out all of them and making your best decision from there. For the SVD, for the attachments, I've chosen to do an extended magazine and everything is put onto stability. So I have the angled grip, compensator, and the CQ BSS scope. You can change these as much as you would like to. Obviously, headshot damage is going to do more actual raw damage, but with the stability mods, I feel like the gun does not move whatsoever, so I'm able to land more shots. But I think what I struggle with the SVD is trying to find a fair balance between stability and accuracy, because either the bloom is too big and it shoots straight, or the bloom is really small and the stability's all over the place. So I'm still trying to fiddle with that, but for the most part, I find that the surplus SVD is the most fun to use, and then the carbon is a very close second. I'm also not using either of these two very much. I'm only really using the X45. So the talents on these are kind of just on the back burner. I'll use them at long distances, but for the most part, I would say for 85% of the time, I'm using this pistol. Now let's go ahead and get into the gear. You'll notice that I'm running purple mods. These are all electronic damage to elite mods, 4%. So when you add all of these up, I'm doing 20% additional damage to elites here. And then for the gear, I have everything rolled to enemy armor damage where it's possible. As you can see, I'm not running ammo capacity here, and I'm not too worried about this. I would rather do increased kill XP here, honestly. The main reason for this is just because I am running the sidearm the majority of the time, which I have infinite ammo for. Now, when I am actually running marksmans, I obviously have 2 of them, so I'm wasting more ammo for each other when I am using them actively, but I really only use this in legendary missions, and there's a restock box after like almost every room. So I'm not too worried about the ammo as far as that's concerned. I think I don't have it on my backpack either. I was looking for a better Sentry's Call backpack to get rid of this burn resistance, and as you can see, I do have stability on the backpack as well. All the mods are exactly the same. For the performance mods, I've chose 4% ballistic shield damage, which is also for sale this week. Make sure to pick those up and check out that vendor restock video for the location, because I don't have it at the top of my head. But I've chosen these because I'm going to do increased damage while I'm using the shield. And you could do shield health here if you would like to. As you can see, I have not hit the skill power cap just yet with this build, so I could do a little bit more health for the shield if you want to do that instead. You could also run just you could switch one of these pieces over to skill power instead, but then you would technically be over the cap. So you just kind of have to fiddle with pieces until you have it where you want it. For the mask, I have enemy armor damage here, of course. Make sure you do damage to elites here as well on the knee pads. And then I have enemy armor damage on the knee pads as well. I could have also done it on the mask, but 8% enemy armor damage is a big chunk, so I definitely don't want to sacrifice this for a low skill power roll. I would rather do it on the knee pads or the backpack that's going to give you that 13,000 skill power, but then I think you'd be around 130,000 or so, which is technically over, but it's really not that big of a deal. If you were going to do it on any pieces though, I would probably recommend the knee pads or the backpack, but you are going to miss out on 4% enemy armor or 17.5% stability. It's going to be completely up to you. For the gloves, I've chosen to go with these ones. I am kind of looking for some better ones that don't have skill haste involved, just because I am using cool-headed. I don't really need skill haste all that much, but you definitely want enemy armor damage. You could do pistol damage and marksman if you would like to. I think that would be the best combination. And of course, you'll want a firearms roll here. And then for the holster, I do have skill haste here, but I'm contemplating changing this over to reload speed. See if you have some increased reload speed there. You could also do critical hit chance if you want to, but that's only like 4%, so I don't think that's a big enough percentage to sacrifice. I think that reload speed would be the better option. Now for these skills, I've chosen the Flashbang Sticky Bomb. This is going to help keep the NPCs stationary while my teammates and I focus the ones that are obviously flashbang. Now you can use any skill you would like to. I would definitely recommend the defibrillator as one of them, so you can be somewhat of a bigger support role for your teammates. You can pick them up if they go down, kind of a thing. You can also do something along the lines of a pulse. If none of your teammates are running a pulse, I would definitely recommend something along the lines of recon or the tactical scanner. You're going to give them a little bit of a critical hit chance and damage percentage, as well as if you use the tactical scanner, they're going to do a base damage increase of 10%. So this is a good option if no one else in your team does have a pulse. You do have a little bit of a higher electronics roll. You're at 4K, so this could be beneficial in some scenarios, but I would almost always recommend the flashbang over anything else. And for the shield, I've chosen to do the assault shield. This is going to increase your overall damage, accuracy, and reload speed and stability. So I would definitely recommend this. You could do something like the kinetic breaker, or yeah, I would really only use the assault shield. The kinetic breaker really isn't going to give you that much protection back, as well as the reactive targeting. There's really no benefit to this. I would just use the assault shield only for this build. I find that this is going to be the best option. Now for the talents, I do go back and forth between on the move and steady hands depending on my mood. If I'm wanting to utilize the marksman rifles more, I use steady hands. If I'm wanting to utilize the pistol more, I'm going to do on the move instead. I definitely would never take combat medic off, and I personally never take strike back off, although I could possibly change this over to critical save. Or I could even do death by proxy if I wanted to give my shield some extra skill power. But strike back is just it's a force of habit. I pretty much never take this off. It's just going to give you that active skill cooldown reduction when you reach low health. Maybe I can get my shield back a bit faster. One is None is also, in my opinion, a must-have for this build. It's going to prolong the amount of time before you have to reload your pistol. It's going to save you more time. Another really good talent that you can utilize on the pistol is Toxic. This is going to keep the NPC stationary. I've just found that Toxic it works for like 1 second, 1.5 seconds. I don't think that it's, yeah, I did Brutal instead. I used to have Toxic here, but I think that I would rather do more damage to them with the headshot damage to kill them faster than to keep them stationary. But Toxic has saved me in the past. And then One is None would help you keep Toxic going for longer, because you'll obviously have more bullets returned to the magazine. Now let's go ahead and go over the character stats. Mind that I have the pistol in hand, 0% critical hit chance. That's not very good, but again, we're not really going for crits. What we're really going for is headshot damage, which is 143. Accuracy is 78%, 18% stability. This does go up when the shield is actually out, but I don't know exactly by what percentage. Again, I might change the holster over to reload speed, so your reload time would be decreased. Pistol damage increased 12% from the gloves. We are running 48% damage to elites with this build and 26% enemy armor damage. We have 16% skill haste with this build, which again is a little bit irrelevant because we are running cool-headed. We're going to run that constant 5% cooldown reduction on headshot lands. And then we have 119,000 skill power, which again is a little under the cap of 125,000, I believe is the cap. So you could go higher with this if you would like to. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the build. Hopefully this made sense, and hopefully that it's something you guys are interested in. I've had a lot of questions about it, and I've just never really gotten the build to where I want it to be able to make a video, but now I'm really comfortable with it, so I hope that you guys enjoy. Let me know if you guys put a build together, how successful it is, or what kind of changes you guys made to it. You guys can make Sentry in many, many different ways, so I'm curious to see how you guys personally make your Sentry builds. And if there are any veteran players watching, please drop your advice or tips and tricks in the comments down below for other agents to take notes. I greatly appreciate you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.